Okay, so how do you get your business prepared for video? Well, there's a lot of steps to this, but I want to condense it down and make it as simple as possible so that you can go away and take a few hints and tips from today's video and go and action them straight away. So the first thing that I want you to do is grab a pen and paper, and I want you to jot down a couple of questions. First of all is, why do you want to make a video? What is it that you want it to achieve? What kind of return are you wanting for this investment of time and energy? And is that realistic? Then once you've understood what it is and your motivations, now let's focus on your audience. Your audience's motivations are even more important. Why is it that they should watch your video? What value will they gain from watching your video? And what value can you provide? If it's just a sales pitch video or a cold call sales video, it's just not going to engage people. You need to capture people's attention within the first 10 seconds. People's attention span now is far shorter than it was in the past. People don't tend to read full books or even buy newspapers as much anymore when they can digest a lot of this information in 30 seconds or a minute or 5 minutes or 10 minutes rather than spending a week reading a book or an afternoon reading a newspaper. So take that advantage, be as succinct as you possibly can and deliver on your messaging and focus on the value that you can bring that customer. So I've got a handful of hints and tips that I want to introduce you to, and these should help you to start planning and then potentially developing your own video content. So tip number one is decide, is this a product explainer video or is it a brand awareness video? Tip number two is get your story or your messaging down before you start filming. We want to understand genuinely what your motivations are and what value you can bring. And it's down to you to define those things so that either your video company or yourself can put that across. Tip number three, tech isn't everything. You have a mobile phone. Most mobile phones now have 4K capability. They are video cameras in their own right. You can pick up a tripod to support that for 10 to 20 pounds in some cases. I've seen people propping their phones up on windowsills and couches and chairs to get that kind of stable look. And most phone cameras now have built-in stabilization, which means that you can ask a friend, a family member, a business partner to stand and hold the phone for you, and a lot of that stabilization will be done in camera for you, and it will be a stable image and it's going to look pretty good. Okay, so the next tip is lighting, and lighting is quite key. Most filmmakers and photographers that I know, it's all about the lighting. That's the creme de la creme secret. So the best advice I can give you is, if you're going to film yourself or you're going to ask somebody to film you or you're going to use a tripod, find a window, get nearby and use the natural light. Tip number five is get your call to action right. You need to tell people what it is that you want from them or you want them to do in order to support you, support your business, gain value from you and your business, that you can have a long-term and prosperous relationship that benefits both parties. I mean, that's key. That's what we're all presumably in business to do, is to help our clients as well as to develop ourselves as we go. So with that in mind, make sure that call to action is succinct. And speaking of call to actions, I am setting up a Facebook group that I'm going to start posting regular content in, kind of like this, with a couple of hints and tips every now and again. And then maybe we could do a question and answer session once a week, once a fortnight, where people can push me on the concepts that I'm pushing out in these videos, and I'll give you some feedback. There are so many people in the business space now that have realized that giving out free information and high value information is the best way to build trust. And that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to build trust with as many people as possible and provide as much value as possible, with the intention and the goal of us all growing and building and developing together. So join the Facebook group, the link's below, and I'll see you there.